I am speaking before Dr. Ishrat Hussain Saab, a senior, a long-time senior, who has a very long and an amenable, or what I say, affectionate relationship with the civil service, and all of us who have learned at least a thing or two from him, even if we were too removed from him 30 years, 35 years. So my job is difficult, but I'll try to be as honest as I can be, as straight as I can be, and try to at least bring up these young minds into the right framework. Because, the biggest problem in the society today is that we are building narratives which are not based with evidence. We say things without properly researching them. We try to assign all the responsibilities of the failures on somebody else's shoulders and try to take the credit for all the successes ourselves. Now, just to say that a country of 230 million people is in a state that it is today, or is facing the challenges that it is facing today because of, say, 10,000 civil servants, will be a statement which no evidence will be able to prove. But if somebody says that, yes, the civil service has a fair share to play in bringing the country to the state that it is today, I'll be more than willing to accept it with an open heart, and say, okay, let us sit down and see what we can do to undo what has happened. Now, starting from this basic premises, let me try to come back to the topic today, which is restructuring the bureaucracy in Pakistan. Now, this too, let me apologize when I say this, this too is the overemphasis of the whole society and the whole narrative with bureaucracy, as if we are just able to restructure the bureaucracy, the problems will disappear. Pakistan will become a solvent state, Pakistan will become a well-governed state, Pakistan's fault lines between the federations and the federating units will disappear because the bureaucracy has been restructured. Our exports will grow, our imports will decrease, or we will have a fair current account surplus. Our fiscal deficits will disappear because we have restructured the bureaucracy. No, I'm sorry. This is not the reason, and this is not going to happen like this. The problem lies, and what I would have loved to see here, instead of restructuring the bureaucracy, is restructuring the governance paradigm. And that does not start with bureaucracy, that ends at bureaucracy. Bureaucracy is responsible for two things only, but unfortunately, the entire narrative is different. Bureaucracy is responsible for assisting the policy makers in policy making, not doing the policy making. And also, of course, a fair share or the primary responsibility in implementing whatever the policy is. Now, if we agree on this, who do we elect for policy making? Who do we assign to policy making? People do not elect the bureaucracy. You elect your members of the local government, you elect your members of the provincial governments or provincial assemblies, and you elect your members of the National Assembly, and they in turn then elect the members of the Senate. Now, what is essentially wrong with the system? What is wrong with the system is that for most part of our lives, we have eliminated the basic tier of administration, which is the local government. This is not what bureaucracy has done, but let me also honestly agree that bureaucracy has been a willing partner in eliminating the tier of the local government. And to that account, I will always hold it culpable. Because taking away the right of the people to interact at the basic level of service delivery with somebody that they can access, with somebody that they can approach, and somebody that they can ask to resolve their problem immediately, is a basic fundamental right, as has been said many times in judgments of the Supreme Court and in various papers and other stuff written on the subject. But by eliminating that basic level, and whenever that level has not been eliminated, it has been functional only partly. like it has been there, people have been there to draw their perks and privileges, people have been there to sit and, you know, have an office and a vehicle perhaps and go around with some plates on their, at the back of their vehicles, but they did not have the resources, they did not have the paraphernalia to deliver for the people. So you have the federal tier, and you have the provincial tier, and then you have the local government tier. Now, what is the job of the federal government? Because we have to understand these concepts if we want to come to, you know, a fair solution that if we want to, is there a need for restructuring the bureaucracy? And if there is a need for restructuring the bureaucracy, who's going to do that? And how that is to be done? I think these are the three questions that we need to ask. So coming back to the role of the bureaucracy, you know, we have primarily the bureaucracy represented as we understand the bureaucracy. You know, I think most of the people, even sitting in this hall, do not see a local government education officer as bureaucracy. They do not see a local health officer as bureaucracy because they have never been, you know, exposed to that level. For them, everything is either the provincial government or the federal government. And for them, everything is the exalted offices that exist in our society, the office of the assistant commissioner, the office of the superintendent of police, the office of the district magistrate or the deputy commissioner. District magistrate is no more, or then the commissioners and the secretaries and the federal secretaries and all others who are working with, you know, say in the CM secretariat or in the prime minister's office or the chief secretary's office. This is the overall shape of the bureaucracy. What I mean to say is, and I'm going to end here, what I mean to say is that the reform will occur only when the political dispensation is prepared to bring in a fundamental change. And that fundamental change is not going to happen unless and until we have a complete, systematic evaluation of where the fault lies. It does lie in the inability of bureaucracy, but more than that, it lies in a governance system which has lost all the relevance to the challenges of 21st century, starting with the political parties who do not have the expertise to run a country today, and also, you know, that is a debate probably which can come up in the question and answer session, and also in all the judicial and hybrid incursions that have taken place over a period of time, and that have now become the norm, which virtually do not leave much space for the bureaucracy to perform, even if they want to perform. I'm aware that I've taken more time than I should have taken, but thank you very much for being very patient, and thank you, Dr. Sabha, for inviting me.